Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a platform, a channel, and a modality where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, and mysticism to rapid lifestyle transformation. And I would invite you, if you find the material of value, please subscribe and like to our channel so that we can get the algorithm more in our favor and so that we can get this information out to as many people as possible. I believe that we are part of a universal and global awakening, and we're part of the momentum that is snowballing this awakening and simply increasing its speed and its efficacy, and it is flowing out in all aspects of social discourse. It's flowing out in the political arena, it's flowing out in the purely spiritual and the creative arts. What our unique bent and niche is utilizing all of this knowledge and the momentum of the awakening to make your personal life and the life of your family a masterpiece. To do what we came to do, ladies and gentlemen, that's take our lives into our own creative power and to mold them and shape them in the way that we please by utilizing the law of assumption, law of attraction, and other principles based on philosophy and spirituality. So, ladies and gentlemen, I pose this question to you, and we've talked about it before in many videos, and we will continually talk about it in the videos to come because it's a very central motif in the whole awakening and in this modality of improving your life. And the question I want to pose to you is a question for contemplation, and it's a question that if you can wrap your head around the implications of it, which is what we're going to ask, the understanding in itself will create an explosion of manifestation in your personal life. And we'll try to explain a little bit why. What if we were living in a simulation, ladies and gentlemen? What if all of this, the whole panorama of everything that you see, hear, feel, and sense is an illusion, or is a projection, or as many spiritual traditions say, is simply a mirror reflection of an image on the other side? Not only do all of the spiritualities and religions of mankind teach this, if that were not enough, it is coming from the universal subconscious of mankind. Not only does the dream world teach this, from our experiences in it, but also science is now beginning to not only discover it, but to develop it in a staggeringly rapid fashion. Physics has already known this for many years. In fact, physics posits, at least quantum physics, posits an innumerable number of other dimensions besides this dimension. In fact, much of the mathematical equations of the modern physics or the new physics would not work without the presupposition of these dimensions. Einstein's theory of relativity presupposes many of these dimensions. Chemistry and biology are all coming out with different versions of this, that matter itself doesn't exist, but it's simply a projection on a screen. And we will make videos giving more detailed accounts of this and more detailed proofs. And we perhaps may dedicate some videos to this. But you can read the works of great expositors of this, like Greg Braden, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, like many others, like Fritjof Capra in The Tao of Physics and other books, where they actually go into details on this. This channel is not that heavily into simply philosophical and scientific discovery, although I really geek out on it. But this channel is not primarily about that. What this channel does is it takes all of these discoveries and takes all of this information and teaching from other realms, because our goal is not simply to be a good scientist or a good follower of any school of thought. No, our goal is to rapidly transform our lives. So what we do is we take all of this disparate information, we aggregate it, and then we derive principles from that are very simple and that can be applied to your life for rapid lifestyle transformation. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to liberate mankind from the prison grid. And the prison grid is another aspect, and I believe it's actually a necessary aspect of the reflection, or of the illusion. But I don't like calling it illusion, because the Hindus call it Maya, and we translate it often into illusion. But it's not an illusion if it's true to you. And we can go more into that as well, but for lack of a better term, of the simulation. But the question I'm positing to you, you know that it's a simulation. Everybody in society knows this. Science knows this. The reason why, even though we know it, and yet it's not rapidly transforming our lives, is because we've been taught from very early ages in the school system, in the education system, to look at something that's red and yet have an authority figure tell us it's black and then say that is black, even though that we know it's red. And we even convince ourselves that red is black. This is the whole purpose of the educational system and of the hierarchical system, so that they can create prisoners and servants to feed off of their energy. And we've talked about this in other videos as well. So my question to you is, contemplate this. What if it were all a simulation? What if this is a dream? Because we know empirically that most of the time, unless you're a lucid dreamer, that's another possibility. Most of the time when you are in a dream, you do not know that you're dreaming until you wake up. And there have been many times, especially in the implementation of the material that we teach on this channel, that I have actually asked myself, am I dreaming while I was awake? And sometimes I've slapped myself or pinched myself to see if that was really a dream, and it wasn't. Because the way that things occur, the way that synchronicities begin to come to you when you start to work with this material, will have you questioning all of it. And it's good to question all of it, ladies and gentlemen. Because what is the difference between the dream and the quote-unquote waking reality? There is none except the thought pattern that says this is true reality and this is a separate reality. Because we know from scientific studies that children usually cannot distinguish between imagination and reality until they turn 7 years old. This has been proven in scientific research, and we can provide the links for that and everything. And it's very interesting that the biblical text says, Jesus is reported to have said, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven until you become as a child. What's the main characteristic of a child? The child knows how to live in his imagination and in his state, his or her state, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, most of the tools that we teach on this channel, you did it non-stop as a child, but it was taken out of you by the prison grid. The prison grid wanted us to lose touch with our inner child, with that child part of us that knew that everything was possible, that knew that his imagination was reality right now, and who knew that he could do anything and follow his dreams, and he could attain anything. Children know this, ladies and gentlemen. So in relation to that, how do we know that this reality is the reality? Why would there be a hierarchy of different realities? When I close my eyes and imagine that I'm eating a strawberry, I can very vividly taste that strawberry. Why would I think that this reality now that comes to me when I open my eyes is the true reality? I'm asking you to contemplate this. Because the answer that you'll come to is that the only reason why you think that the reality is the only reality is because that's what we've been trained to do by the keepers of this grid, this net. And oh yes, it is a literal net of energy, ladies and gentlemen. We can go into that as well. But my main question is, what if you took this knowledge of this being a simulation, which it is? What if you stopped or you suspended your judgment as to which reality was the hierarchical reality? Why is this waking reality that we're experiencing right now together the only reality? Of course it is real. We're not saying it's not real. That would be solipsism and insanity. What we're saying is that it's real because we're choosing to experience it as real. And it's one possibility in many possibilities. What does that mean? Well, since all of the possibilities exist in the universe, and there's no true duality, we know that. There's no separation, because there couldn't be. That means that you can shift to any other reality, not only in time, but outside of time. Immediately. And that's what we train you to do in this channel. That's what I train you to do in my coaching. But in order to go all in on this modality, and you have to go all in it even to prove it to yourself, you have to suspend your judgment. In order to suspend your judgment, I have to in some way convince you that the alternative reality is just as real and just as valid as this reality. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you try to manifest something by utilizing the processes, if you're executing of course the intention is going to be there, but it's going to be in the back of your mind. But if you use the processes and the techniques that we give on this channel simply as a tool to get somewhere else, and you forget about the main purpose of it, to be able to enjoy your desire or a part of your desire in the present moment, then you're going to work against yourself. And sure, you'll be able to manifest some things, but they won't be long lasting. And you'll be able to prove it to yourself a little bit. But once you move past the simple initiatory proof, or the initial proof, the only way to start making this modality work for you is to accept the fact that all possible realities are equal in validity. That's what I'm trying to say. All dreams, all daydreams, all imaginings, and all possible realities are equally as valid, and they can equally be tapped into by you. And this is proven by quantum physics. And this is proven by all of the great spiritual teachers, all of the great religions of all time. So I invite you to contemplate it, ladies and gentlemen. I invite you to ask yourself, because the answers will always come within. All I can do is point you to that modality. All I can do is encourage you to give it a try, but you have to do the work. And the work is the inner work, the contemplation. You have to garner or marshal sufficient you have to garner or marshal sufficient inner energy to be able to take the first step of suspending your judgment and going immediately to the reality that you wish to create, so that you can have it manifest on the physical plane. And then prove this to yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, ask the universe, ask God. Say, I want you to prove to me that what Javier is saying is true, and that I do create my own reality. For if this is a simulation, which means that they're all simulations, that means that you have the power to choose which simulation you're going to be on, which film roll you're going to be on. What does that mean? That means the power lies in your focus. I'm giving you this pearl of great price if only you would take it. And that pearl is, first of all, prove it to yourself. Once you prove it to yourself, you have no option but to give all of your trust and all of your confidence to your focus and your imagination and your ability to get into state. And that means no more looking for it on the outside to manifest. No more trying to manifest. And no more trying to apply it, for you are it. And as Neville Goddard said, the moment that the desire comes upon you, grant it to yourself now. That means no waiting, as the scripture said, for the appointed hour is now. Be a son of the moment. Contemplate all of these well. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anyone's word for it. Ask your inner authority, and then give yourself to this modality. It is a simulation, ladies and gentlemen. What are you going to do with that knowledge? The prison grid is also a simulation, but it's a simulation within a simulation to keep you entrapped within the simulation, because certain energy pools think that they need to feed on your energy. They too, if they would awaken, they would know that they don't need to feed on your energy, and that they have the power of this. That's another discussion. But if you can free yourself from the simulation, you can free yourself from the prison grid, and then your life takes off. And that's the point of everything that we teach on this channel. So thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I am continuing with the series of videos in the coming days. This week we have a lot of powerful videos coming out about the nitty-gritty, about the details of rapid lifestyle transformation, as well as just going more into facets of law of assumption and law of attraction, and anything else that I can do to serve you, to teach you, and to invite you to take this process and methodology full on and apply it so that you can reap the rewards of being free, of being knowing, of living in love, and of being able to create your life as a masterpiece. We're also doing coaching calls, ladies and gentlemen. I will put my email in the description. I will take you hand in hand through this methodology and help you apply it to rapid lifestyle transformation based on my years of experience in business, in studies, and in implementing this material, and as well as in consulting. So please give us an email to set up a coaching call. Until very soon, ladies and gentlemen, with great love and appreciation, this is Javier. We'll see you tomorrow.